the story of how I became a multi-millionaire overnight. I have like a habit of checking my bank account every night just to make sure that all my bills got paid. I remember this one night I opened my bank account. There were 5 new bank accounts added to my login. Guess how much the bank accounts totaled? It was over $1 million. I remember freaking the freak out and rolling over and like smacking my husband and being like, is this real? It was very much real. The weird part was that these accounts that had been added to my login were not my bank accounts. They're like 5 different bank accounts with different bank account numbers that I was not familiar with. As my husband and I did some digging, we realized that the bank accounts were actually investment accounts with the bank where we bank at. My plan was to go to the bank and say something was wrong, but I did have to go to work first. So I remember going into the office and being like, y'all are not gonna believe what happened to me. After work was over that day, I went in to my bank and I reported obviously that something was wrong and that I had access to 5 bank accounts that were not mine and they all totaled $1 million. I'll be honest, it was kind of crazy because they seemed so nonchalant about it. Like when I walked in, they were so chill. Anyway, obviously I reported it like a good citizen, and at that point it was just a waiting game. I kept checking my bank account every day just to see if the money would go away and if the bank would do anything about it. Well, a few days later, I'm checking my bank account. Aren't gonna believe what happens next. That $1 million that I had in my account, yeah, that $1 million turned into $21 million. At this point, I was like, okay, who's pranking me? Like, what is going on? I'm sitting here trying to figure out, okay, should I change my face and just like dip to another country? This is like retirement, generational wealth. Obviously, I did not do that because it's highly illegal. Can I say I was tempted? Yes. Yes, I can. And so would you. At this point, I knew, okay, I need to go back to the bank. Remember I got to the bank, the like associate that was helping me, when I told her what was going on, was straight up like, ended up being at the bank for a few hours while they contacted like a bunch of higher ups. Inevitably, no one could seem to figure out what was wrong. And so they sent me home saying they filed a report and I just needed to wait. It actually ended up almost taking them 3 full months to get that money off of my account. The bank actually never told me what happened. I never heard from them again. That is the story of how I basically became a multimillionaire overnight.
This might actually be the creepiest story I've ever heard. Like, it made me feel violently ill when I heard this. It makes me feel sick thinking about it. Like, I just don't want to. So there's a woman and she lives with her boyfriend, but one day she's home alone and she gets a frantic knock on the door, and there's a woman equally as frantic saying, "My husband's in your house, you're not safe, you need to get out of the house." And this woman's like, "Love, I think you've got the wrong door. No one's in my house, it's just me." She ends up just shutting the door on this woman, being like, "No one here, love, don't worry about it." And this woman continues knocking on the door. She's knocking on the window, going around the house going, "Please, I don't know where he is, I don't know what he's capable of, you need to get out of the house." Naturally, when someone tells you this, you can be like, is there someone in my house? So she does like a sweep and she looks in cupboards, under doors, usual places like behind the shower curtain where a murderer could potentially be hiding, I don't know. And she doesn't find anyone. And she goes to the door and the woman's still there. And she's like, "There's no one in my house. I think you've got the wrong house. Do you need me to call someone to come and pick you up?" And then this woman says, "You don't understand. He doesn't want you to find him." Says he covers himself in lotion, right? He covers himself in lotion so you can't smell him and he blends into his surroundings and he can move his body in a way where he can fit into places where people shouldn't be fitting. So this girl's looking at this woman being like, "Okay, I'm going to call the police." And someone's like, "The police aren't going to do anything. I've called the police on him. I need to come in and show you where he is." And she's getting these red flags being like, "I shouldn't let anyone in my house." She shuts the door and she calls her boyfriend and she's like, "What do I do?" And he's like, "Call the police. Like, don't open the door to anyone. Don't let someone in the house. Call the police." She ignores him. For some reason, this woman just decides to sit down and carry on watching TV or whatever she was doing, I don't know. She carries on watching TV while this woman is like in a camping chair outside with a cigarette, like not joking, she's just waiting. Somehow she's focused on the TV, but she's paranoid and she's thinking, someone's watching me. And then she decides to follow every surface of her house to find anything out of shape. She goes up the cupboards, down, across tables, looks in corners, focusing on every detail. And when she gets to about a 20cm gap between her fridge and her wall, she notices something that looks like a finger bent out of place. I can't. She follows this bent looking finger, then she sees something that looks like an arm. She continues to look up, and then she sees a head. There is a man standing in a 20cm gap between her fridge and her wall in such an unnatural position that it looks like he's slightly bent forward. His hands and his arms are bent in place where he's kind of like squashed, but he's also leaning forward. And she just says, "Sir, you need to get out of my house." He's just looking straight forward, straight through her, no blinking, no twitching, nothing, just doing what he's doing. I thought someone was behind me then. I told you it makes me feel ill. She continues to shout, "You need to get out of my house, you need to get out of my house." He's not doing it. Now the woman outside is saying, "I don't know what he's going to do now you found him. You need to get out of the house now." There's a problem though. She needs to go by him to exit the house. Somehow she ends up falling over and she lands right next to his feet, and he doesn't move. He's still just looking over her. She scrambles to the front door, opens the front door, and does the one bit of advice she should have done all along and call the police. 2 male police officers arrive. They do a thorough check on the house. No one's there, love. Can't see anyone. And both of these women are saying, "He's in the house." Like, "I'm not going in there, but I can tell you exactly where he is." And they're like, "No one's in the house. We've searched everywhere. We can't find him." The police say, "If you don't feel safe, you shouldn't stay here tonight." But there's no one in your house. There's no evidence of anyone being in your house. If you see someone, call us, whatever. I don't know how delusional this woman is to be married to this guy or how he got a wife in the first place. But she ends up saying to this girl that he's been practicing for a while not being able to move, and he's not alone. He found out how to do it on the internet because apparently there's a group of men that like to just stand still and watch people. Oh! The woman's boyfriend comes home and she says to him, "We're not staying in the house, there's a man in the house," and he thinks she's overreacting. Even the guy's wife is saying to the boyfriend, like, "You're not safe in there. I don't know what to do," but this guy's like, "Where do we go? Like, this is our house. We're not being scared out of a house by some crazy woman and a man that's apparently just watching us in the house. Like, what do you want me to do with this information?" The girl and this guy's wife end up texting each other. They become best mates, you know, and they end up meeting up with each other so she can practice or show her how to see this man and how he's hidden in plain sight. This woman teaches the girl how to see her husband, basically. But then she says, "Let's drive into the city and practice." Then this woman says in the space of about 2 hours, they saw 3 of these men hiding in plain sight. They're just watching and waiting. For what? Who knows? It just seems to me that the 2016 clowns have evolved and now they're doing something scarier. It's like a group of incels on the internet just want to scare people. But it's making me feel ill, violently sick. Like, I'd take a ghost and a demon any day over a creepy weirdo man. Do you know what I'm saying?
My ex-best friend of 14 years became my son's stepmother. I met this girl around 5th, 6th grade when I would visit my dad. He lived in the town that she lived in, and she lived right around the corner from him. We were super close. We played outside together all the time. We kind of grew up from playing outside to drinking our first drink, to smoking our first blunt, to having our first kiss, to going to our first club. You know, all the little child to adolescent, teenage milestones into adulthood. She was close with my family. I was cool with hers. It was very known that we were very close. Everybody knew it. It wasn't a secret. It wasn't like we were fair weather friends. We were extremely close. Even in school, like, she was fighting with somebody, I'm ready to fight with her. If somebody messing with her, I'm taking them down. We went through a lot of shit together, as far as like shit she went through with men, shit I went through with men, like, you know, just the whole shebang. Anything like lifelong best friends we go through. When she became 19, she became pregnant with twins, and she had 2 twins, boys, and it was beautiful, even though she was young and she was kind of ruining her life because she claims that the child's father was immature, which I'm sure he was, and I'm sure what she was saying at the time was very accurate. And you know, I had her back. She got pregnant. She had to like leave college, and she was ready to raise her kids. Now, mind you, she still lived at home with mom. There was a small period of time where I don't think we fell apart necessarily. I think I was going through like a really horrible relationship, and she was trying like with my other friend to help me. And I got through that, obviously, and we remained cool. We still remained friends. This was somebody who was going to be a bridesmaid in my wedding. When I had my first child, I went through a lot with my son's father, and she would be right there with me, coaching me on how to put him on child support, coaching me on how to handle him, because she was very well versed in that. She did have, I believe she had kids like shortly before me. I was pregnant. Sorry. I remember I was pregnant at her baby shower. So we were kind of pregnant at the same time, but she had them first. I had them after. So she was like talking mad shit about my baby daddy's family. I was showing her what I was going through. I wasn't just telling her, like, she was seeing with her own eyes that, like, you know, I was struggling. He was a non-provider. He was a cheater, a liar. His family was weird. You know, she was seeing this. It wasn't like she was just a fair weather friend on the internet and like just hearing. She was watching it in real time. She was helping me, you know, file things. She was sitting in, you know, my family's backyard all the time with her. Our kids would play together. My family would include her on family holidays, Christmas. My grandmother would buy her kids little gifts when it was like gatherings. Like, it was like that. We were so close. Like, she would call my grandma. She called my grandma because she was looking for an apartment. She was, you know what I'm saying? She had communication with my family outside of me. So with that all being said, you can tell that we were very close. Like, she knew that, you know, my baby daddy did me dirty. That he, especially while I was pregnant, she knew all like the nitty gritty details. She knew that he was like not a provider and not really taking care of his responsibilities as a dad. She knew all this. She's seen it. She witnessed it. She was helping me fight it. Fast forward, I got pregnant with my second child. I was in another relationship by then. You know, I had been left my baby daddy, and I was pregnant with my second child. And we were still close. Like, we would still talk even up. We would still talk to the point where we were having conversation about planning my gender reveal for my second child. So she had gotten pregnant again with her third child, still living under her mother's roof with the same baby daddy that she claimed abused her, wasn't a provider, was a piece of shit. She told me that she actually planned this third child, that they planned the third child after she bashed her baby daddy. Cool. No judgment here. You know what I'm saying? But I did tell her, like, girl, like, you don't have to do this. Like, you can't even sustain yourself. Like, you literally live in your mom's roof. Like, your mom's not livid right now. But she decided to keep the baby, and listen, babies are a blessing. So now this girl has 3 kids in her mom's roof, and I'm kind of like, damn, bitch, like, you know, it's time to get your life together because this ain't it. But I don't say anything to anybody. I keep my thoughts to myself because she's already pregnant. What the fuck? I'm gonna make her feel bad? Like, no, it's my friend. I'm not saying nothing. So as we're talking about my gender reveal, the conversation kind of died out, and I'm pretty sure she got busy. She has a newborn, I believe, is from the month of like born to like 3 months, I would say. So the baby was still in a newborn phase. She messages me out of the blue and says, I need to tell you something. I don't remember like the specific wording, but that. She goes, me and so are going to pursue a relationship. I just wanted to tell you. That so was my baby father. The same baby father that fucked me over, doesn't handle his responsibilities as a father, $4,000 back in child support, crazy family, crazy situation, my best friend getting in a relationship with a newborn. So I sat there for a minute because I swear I thought she was joking. I mean, girl, you just had a baby, a third one, living in your mom's house. That means you were just having sex with your baby daddy. You were just with your baby daddy. What am I missing? So I tell my boyfriend at the time, like, yo, like, this bitch playing. Because there's no way. Like, there's no way that made sense. Like, girl, you doing too much. Like, you're funny. No. She was dead ass. And I never heard from her again after that, by the way. So I'm like confused because I'm like, where is this coming from? How long? You just had a baby. You were just still having sex with your baby daddy, like very recently. Like I'm talking about after the baby was born. When did you have time to, after just having a baby and just being with your baby daddy, date mine? Also, why would you ever want to date somebody who had a child with your best friend? Hello? And me crashing out had nothing to do with the man. Like, I did send her a message and it just had nothing to do with the man. Like, I moved on already. I was already in another relationship, having another baby. It's the principle of, you're my friend. What are you doing? Hello? Are you okay? Are you, like, is this a joke? Like, where's Ashton Kutcher? So I called my baby daddy and I'm like, you know why I'm calling you, right? And he's like, why? And I go, well, I got a message from my best friend saying this. Is this what's going on? And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, and that makes sense to you? And he's like, well, and I'm like, so if your guy best friend decided to start having a relationship with me, that would make sense. He goes, well, if that happened to me, I wouldn't be friends with that person. So it's not a red flag to you that your baby mama's best friend wants to be with you and you don't see that as a red flag as a person. Like fuck what she did to me or how it affected me in her relationship. You don't see her as being a grimy person in general. If you're saying you wouldn't be friends with somebody that does that, then what makes you want to date somebody who does that? But I digress because, okay, that's what y'all choose. Whatever. Y'all are both weird as fuck. And this whole situation is weird. Everything he ever said about me negative, that made me a horrible person and a horrible mother, which never been me. But he was so bitter that he curated this whole narrative of me when, whatever. Everything he ever said about me that was negative applies to her, like in her behavior, but yet it's excusable for her to do it and for her to be like that. But when I did it, I was a bad mom. I was hurt. I was fucking hurt and confused, and I was pregnant, so obviously my hormones. So my baby daddy's sister-in-law, which also happens to be one of my old best friends who started dating and ended up marrying his twin brother, but we're gonna clock that tea another time. She told me that it was my hormones making me act that way, that I shouldn't overreact. And oh, girl, what? You see how I'm constantly gaslit? Like, I can't make this shit up. So the sister-in-law's on the phone with me. She is making me seem like I am nuts. Like this is not abnormal. Like, she made a comment that it's like, oh, you can't, people can't control like who they like you can't control what people do. I can absolutely control not falling in love and fucking with my friends, exes, baby daddies. Definitely have control over that. That was definitely a choice. But she gaslit me so hard, made it seem like, oh, like you're just hormonal. Girl, even if I didn't have a baby, this would be like, this is just not normal. Like, I asked her, I asked sister-in-law, like, if your best friend did this to you, oh, I would be her. What is wrong with you people? Like, am I crazy? Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm seeing stuff that other people aren't seeing. So I hang up the phone with her because she was just, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I couldn't believe that everybody was making me the crazy one, that this just came out. So I left that alone with her because I wasn't trying to curse her out. Like, real talk, I wasn't trying to curse her out. And I was already going through a lot of shit when I was pregnant. So it wasn't giving. So I definitely sent my ex-best friend a few paragraphs, and of course she ignored them because she's scary and can't, face the shit that she does. And so of course I called one of my other friends because I was whatever. And you know what everybody that talked to me about this says? You're surprised? Yeah, what do you mean? Of course I'm surprised. What? Like, this is not left field? And everybody that I talked to from our school said, the fact that you're surprised and you didn't see that obviously she would have done this to you, she's been grimy. How do you not see that? Do you guys not see a pattern in how I am constantly allowing grimy people in my life and not seeing, like, having no discernment, no judgment, like, not seeing it? Now you can see, like, I was not picking friends right, obviously. Like, I was not doing well at that. So then people started pointing out, like, all the fucked up shit she would do. And I'm like, well, yeah, that doesn't make, like, I'm starting to really think about it, like, well, damn, yeah, that's fucked up. Or, yeah, and people started coming forward with their stories and their experience with her. And I'm like, now to think of it, like, yeah, that didn't make sense. Like, yeah, that, yeah. Like, yeah. Like, then you start realizing, like, holy shit, bitch been, like, a grimy bitch. And then I started to realize, like, oh my God, like, how did I not see it? You know what's even crazier? The 4th of July prior, my baby daddy and I were maybe possibly working on reconciling. That shit lasted a week because I realized he was still like an immature non-provider. But we went, while she was pregnant with her 3rd child, we went together to her 4th of July barbecue. And she was with her baby daddy and I was with mine. And now everybody's making me think, how long was this going on? Apparently it was going on like while she was pregnant. That's an allegedly. So now I feel betrayed. I feel I'm raging. I'm pregnant. I'm pissed. So I'm on the phone with my other friends and they're like, oh, like none of us are surprised. Like the whole anybody I went to high school with, they had stories for like all the grimy shit she's done to them. They're like, she's been doing this shit. Then her baby daddy was pissed because what she started to do was, immediately when she started dating my baby daddy exclusively, making him the dad. She made her kids call my baby daddy dad and called their biological father like that's not their dad. Like, she would tell them, that's not your father, like this man is. And he became her kid's dad like very quickly, and then it came out that she was actually pregnant. So she had a baby, a newborn, and then now she's pregnant with my son's father. Everything moved so fast, and all I kept thinking was, I wonder how his family feels about this, because for such a Christian, godly family, there's no way, at least I had faith in his mother. I did. I had faith in his mother, and I would tell my family, because my family's like, oh, I knew his family was trash. No, I was like, no, I'm pretty sure his mom is definitely telling him about himself. No, they all definitely were oddly really liking this girl for a lot. And it's so funny because all the things they condemn me for, she does the same exact things. That's when I learned, like, people just it's just because it's you. Just because it's you. And I was so shocked his family was co-signing this, that the pastor and the bishop, they were heavily involved in church, that the pastor and the bishop were co-signing this and were eating this up, but like the pastor bishop had a problem with me. And I was like so confused. First of all, as a mother, when I look at that situation, if that was my son, I would be like, you know what? I support you. Like, you know, you make your own decisions, but to me, that doesn't sit right. Why would your baby mama's best friend want to date you? That's grimy. Like, I wouldn't trust a bitch like that. I would tell my son that because I would keep it real. Then all of a sudden, she found Jesus. She started going to their weird ass church, like being like a Bible thumper, posting Bible quotes. I swear that the horrible person to Christian Bible thumper timeline needs to be studied by psychologists, because what is even that? So then I just had to eat it. And it fucking pissed me off that you're willing to lose a friend. Me and her have never had beef, never had problems. I've always had her back. You're willing to lose a friend for a man who can't even take care of his one child. What makes you think he's going to take care of your 3? So I'm thinking, like, that's so weird. Like, he's back in arrears, $4,000, the same thing she condemns her baby daddy for, because she had him on child support at one point before they got back together and had a third child. He's not taking care of his responsibilities. He's not a provider. Everything that you're bashing your baby daddy for, why do you want my deadbeat baby daddy? Why do you want my broke baby daddy? I'm not understanding. And people were like, she wanted your life. And I'm like, why would you want my life? My life with him sucked. He's a fucking loser. He's a fucking pathological liar. He's a cheater. He's a bum. He's dirty. Like, the fuck? My life was ass with him. I didn't have a good life with him. What gave? She saw everything I went through. What gave I had a good life with him? What does she think? He's gonna get with her and become this mega millionaire and become this great father and this great man? Girl. Now, mind you, a lot happened in between. A lot happened after that. Like, a lot of crazy shit happened. But I want to save that series of events for another story time, because it's more serious story time. But just know that after they got together and all this stuff happened, she started helping him and his family come after me. She started testifying in court against me for him. She started making up shit and lying. Like, she started actually becoming my enemy, which she already was. I mean, no real friend would do what she did. But yeah, she started going, like, she started helping them attack me and come after me. They lost, and the court called her out for lying, and him. She didn't get away with it, but she dead ass became my op over a man who can't give her nothing. And that was in 2022. It's 2025. So she has 3 kids. They had the fourth one. So now they have 4 kids still living in her mother's house. He has not put a roof over their head. He has not done anything substantial to provide for her. He actually owes me $11,000 that's on his arrears. He can barely pay his full child support. My son asked him for $10. He said he couldn't give it. He coaches her son's wrestling team. Never been involved. He doesn't even know our son's teacher's name.
My boyfriend refuses to sleep with me with protection, so I faked being pregnant. Started dating like a year ago, and when we started dating, I got on birth control. Like, I tried for 6 months and it just doesn't work. Like, I feel horrible. One of my biggest fears is to get pregnant, so I said, we're gonna have to start using protection now. Like, he literally started freaking out in the beginning, saying he wouldn't do that. Like, he refused to do it. And I told him, well, this is not really a negotiable thing, so if you don't use, then we're just not gonna do anything ever. And like, for the past 6 months, it's been like a struggle whenever we decide to do anything, because like, he's constantly like trying not to use it. The thing is, like, I'm obsessed with him, I love him, and he kind of started saying that he would probably break up with me because he just couldn't be in a relationship if he had to have intercourse like that. So a week ago, I was actually furious because he did the most disrespectful thing ever, I think. So I said, okay, let's do it without anything. But the thing was that against my will, he finished inside me. So I decided, you know what, since he doesn't care about this at all, let's fake a pregnancy. It feels like he doesn't think about the consequences, but I know that if I faked it, he would be scared. Oh, by the way, after he finished, he did start panicking, and that was even more like, why did you do it then? He started saying that he had to go and buy me the morning after pill. I was like, okay, I'm gonna scare him. I told him, okay, never mind. I'm already late in my cycle, so it probably won't work. And I know this is not like technically right, but he doesn't know it. So I knew I wasn't gonna be pregnant because of the cycle and everything, but still I wanted to scare him because I thought it was just very disrespectful that he didn't think about it. And I was like, you better get serious about this, because there's no way, you already know this, there's no way that I'm ever gonna get an abortion. So then I go a step further and I say, okay, so I'm probably gonna have to quit my job, so you're gonna have to like get a second job. And he was like, okay, let's do a pregnancy test right here, right now. And I was like, it doesn't work like that. It wouldn't show up, like it'll probably just show up in a few weeks. And this was a week ago. So when I tell you that throughout this whole week, like, he hasn't been able to eat anything. I already got my period, by the way, but he doesn't know it because he doesn't even want to do anything. I think he needs to learn his lesson. So I'm probably gonna say say like the truth in like 2 days or something. I'm just like actually enjoying seeing him suffer. Yesterday I heard him cry in the bathroom and I kind of felt guilty, but this was what he needed to learn the lesson. So